Hello everyone, welcome to Accounting 151, Principles of Financial Accounting 2 for the semester online. We're glad that you've decided to join us. We're grateful that you are going to participate in our class. So this video or podcast is to try to outline or walk through the course site so you're familiar with how this is structured and what you need to do, where to find things. So first of all, as you see on your screen, the most commonly located places on the course are listed across the top, these icons, to help you with one click through to get to the things that we anticipate you will use most often in this course. So the content is where you'll find all the reading, all of the learning modules, that sort of thing. Everything is organized in modules by week. We have 6 weeks. We have 6 learning modules. Actually 7 with the final exam. We made that a separate learning module. So each of those is there under the content. Okay. Discussions we found there. We'll have most weeks we'll have a weekly discussion. Dropbox is how we'll do homework and other assignments, including our midterm exam and some memos and a final project. If you want to check your grades, that can be done here or using class progress, which shows a much more detailed picture of not only the grades you have, but what the points you need to get a particular grade going forward, as well as all of what you have signed into or not into in terms of the class. If you want to send an email through the system, that is done here. That is hopefully where you send more personal discussion of grades or situations. Most of the questions I would encourage you to post on the discussion board by topic, so that we can respond more quickly and others can see our answers, as well as others can see your other people can respond to your questions besides myself. There may be those who have even better insight than I can give. So, and then resources is where you can find links to the library, links to tutoring, and various resources in that direction as well. So please avail yourself of those as needed going forward this summer. So that's the top ribbon, is a toolbar as we call it. Down the right hand side is a picture of yours truly looking kind of not too bad, from a couple of years ago. My direct email address at HACC, my office, which we're not using right now due to the pandemic, on campus, my phone number on campus, again, which will not be very helpful. More helpful is the personal Zoom room link that is there, which is where you would go if you wanted to have student hours, you wanted to meet with me. If we set up an appointment, anything like that, we'll use that Zoom room to communicate together, and we'll be able to see each other, that sort of thing. In the middle is our news feed, and this is, I will keep updated. There will be at least once a week there will be a change in this message to try to keep us on track, make sure we all know where we're going, what we're doing. If there's any change that needs to happen in our schedule or our syllabus or anything like that, that's where I would post it. So keep on top of that. Further down are some things that may be helpful. The content browser is literally the layout of the class. Most people, I think, use the content button at the top, not the content browser, but it's there. And the calendar, if you like to keep track of things like that based on date, then that calendar is there on the right hand side down at the bottom. And you can scroll down and see what is coming up in terms of due dates, all that situation on a date basis. All right, so like I mentioned, there's content. I'm going to click on that content, and the modules will be listed down the left-hand side in this situation. We're going to go to the Start Here Introduction module, where you will find the syllabus and the detailed syllabus outlining our schedule, outlining our learning objectives, showing us all that we need to know in terms of assignments and that sort of thing. It will give us our expectations. It will lay out the policies on how we will handle everything from attendance and so forth. I know online we expect you to log in regularly. That can be any time. It doesn't have to be a specific time, but we do want you to do that regularly so we can keep up with everything that's going on. That is all laid out and in that syllabus in terms of the assignments and due dates, all that sort of thing. Here's our introduction discussion board here in this module as well, where we will invite you to introduce yourself. But I want to click on this link here. This is the entire, the link to the entire textbook that we're going to be using this semester. This is a freely available online textbook in an HTML format. There are some links inside in terms of being able to link to other resources. Each chapter, okay, is available separately and is also broken down into sub-chapters, if you will, or sections beyond that. So on this website you have choices. You can just use it this way, you can read it this way. I will put each chapter in the learning module as a link, so you'll be able to link directly to the chapter that we're covering in that learning module. But the whole thing is here in the introduction module, where you can print out or download the full PDF of the whole textbook as a PDF file, put it on save it on your device, carry it with you wherever you need to go, okay? And therefore you would not need to be connected to the internet to read. All right. You can buy a paper copy if you would like. You can print the book files. All right. You can do any of those things, one chapter at a time, the whole thing. When you're on just a chapter, it'll allow you to do the same thing, to download just that chapter. All those things are available. So we'll try to make it, and none of them cost except for the buy paper copy. You're going to have to cover the cost of printing and shipping that to get it to you. All right. Now, once say we're looking at chapter 1, we drill down, we see that each chapter is broken down into these sections, which then I can click on to find my learning objectives and the reading that I need to do. Okay? Once you have done the reading, you can move forward by clicking on the next section. All right? Or you can go back out, reverse, right, and go back out and pick the next one, however you'd like to do. Now, here's the thing to remember. At the end of each of these chapters is a section called End of Chapter Exercises, and I want to show you how this looks. All right. First of all, in the End of Chapter Exercises, there are questions, several questions, usually about 20 or so, all right, that review what was covered in the chapter. Then there are some true-false questions. Then there are multiple. So these are open-ended, true-false, then multiple-choice questions. All right. Then there are problems. So what I have provided for you in each learning module is the answers to all the questions true, false questions, and multiple choice questions. So in each learning module, there will be a file, an Excel file with the answers to all of those. My suggestion is that you use them to review your learning from what you're reading and from the podcast that I provide to you. After you've done that, use these questions to see if you can get the right answer, check your answers, that sort of thing. Then, when it comes to homework, that homework will always come from the problems at the very end of that section. So not the exercises, not the questions, but the problems is where the homework will come from. The specific homework problems that I expect you to complete will be shown in the drop box. You click on the drop box and it will give you the instructions as to which problems need to be completed and uploaded into that drop box. That's how we will do homework. On top of that, your homework, then once you've completed that homework, okay, you post it in the Dropbox, and then you'll be able to see my explanation of those homework problem answers. So again, we're dealing with the problems here, and you can make corrections. So you'll have till Saturday to put your homework in the Dropbox and till Monday to make corrections into that homework. So you'll be able to, and you get literally, according to this, in our class policy, you can get full credit even if you make mistakes, as long as you make and explain the corrections on the reposting and get that in on time. All right, so that's how we deal with homework. That's where to find it, and that's how it will be graded. So we'll go back to our course site. If you have any questions, there's a discussion board right in the introduction to ask questions about the course in general. Looking at our first module, you'll see that there is the link to Chapter 1, as I mentioned. Okay, a PowerPoint presentation that you can follow along with. Then explanation podcasts explaining all the points from that chapter. Then, as I mentioned, the answers to the questions, multiple choice, true, false, that sort of thing. Those answers are here. And then I have left in this, copied over from my spring course, the recordings of some of the actual class discussion that was done. So I know that some of it will not be applicable because it will be specific to that spring course and what assignments are due and that sort of thing. But if you feel would like to see how it would be presented in class and what questions students came up with and how we addressed those in a more classroom, again, it was Zoom, but a Zoom classroom from spring, you may watch those. To be able to see them, I've put a quiz in here that you must take that basically asks you one question: are you willing to not share this with other people, others outside of this class? If you answer that question correctly, then you'll be able to see the recording of our class. So that's just extra if you feel you need it or would feel like it would be helpful in understanding the material. All right, so that's how Module 1 is. Okay, some other assignments. For instance, in Module 2, we will be starting our first memo. All right, and it will be in the assignments, and there will be just more specific instructions. The memos are going to be short. They are going to be around a page. They should be done in a professional business memo format, and you'll have 2 chances to complete it, in that you will create a rough draft, turn it in, I will make comments, okay? You'll get a grade on that rough draft based on you meeting the minimum requirements of having it in a page, having it in the proper format, having any reference to anything you did as far as research and other materials. This is not necessarily a research paper, but I don't expect a lot of other resources, but if you do find information in other sources, you need to reference them, give credit where credit is due. I will make those corrections, so that you may get 10 points for the rough draft by meeting those minimum requirements. Once I have made corrections to it, give it back to you, then we're going to do a final draft, and we're going to do this with 2 different memo topics. So we're going to do it you're going to have 4 submissions. But the final draft, I'm going to grade more carefully, and that's where I expect you to have corrected mistakes in terms of presentation, in terms of grammar, in terms of addressing the topic fully, all of those things in that follow-up or second draft. Well, where even if you got a 10 on the first draft, if you don't make some corrections or something to improve it, you're not going to get that same score on the final draft. So we're going to do that. We're going to have a midterm exam that's going to be in a Dropbox. You're going to complete a spreadsheet to do that. And then the final exam is going to be, and this is where it's going to be a little difficult, is we need to keep up with everything this semester, because right at the end, normally this class is taught in 7 weeks. We're doing it in 6 weeks because of the summer time frame. And so what that means is the final exam is going to basically overlap our chapter 6. It's going to be available, the review and the final exam will be available the same week as we're completing up chapter 6. So that last week is going to get kind of crowded, and so you need to make sure that you're not trying to do things from earlier chapters so that you can be successful in that regard. So the final exam will be timed and will be multiple choice and fill in the blank that you will have to take online. Once you start it, you will have a set amount of time to finish it. You can do it any time during the week, but it must be done in the 2-hour time period that you once you start it. So that is the requirements. That's the outline. Let me show you the types of this. There's a discussion graded. There's always a question discussion, but there's also in this is module 2. There will be for specific instructions about the discussion, what I'm looking for in your answer, in your posting. Make sure you read it carefully and address all of the issues. You will always need to post at least twice. But I encourage you, and you can't see others' postings until you post. And so what happens when you've posted is you see others. If you see that you want to add things or change anything in your original posting, please do so. That's the point, is a discussion. We're working towards a complete and correct answer to the scenario. It's not about just getting it right the first time and oops, you messed up, too bad. It's come back and reread and update, and then there will be specific instructions also for the follow-up post. The original post is due by Saturday, hopefully even earlier than that, so other people get a chance to read your post and respond to it, because their follow-up post is going to be due on Tuesday. All right, so they have to make at least 2 to get 2 postings for full credit. They should be full sentences, and they should explain fully what you're trying to with specific references, especially when you're doing a follow-up to what you originally saw in the original post. All right, so if you find yourself just saying good job, that's probably not a sufficient follow-up type of posting. So that is how the course is laid out. Again, if you have questions, if there's anything that comes up while you're reading the syllabus or looking for the textbook or any of that type of thing, please do not hesitate to post those questions on the discussion board so that we can all benefit from them.